Smoking and drinking are of course injurious, but we promise this conversation will surely make you curious.
Hi, hello, vanakkam. Welcome to Coffee and Convo, where the conversations get alive. Today, we have Yashvasin here with us, who is the writer of the book The Legend of Garvern at Coffee and Convo.
Yeah, guys. So Yashvasin is someone who enjoyed telling stories ever since he was a kid. When he wants to tell a story, he will always somehow find a way to make everyone sit and listen to it. He hasn't always been able to convey what he truly feels when it matters. He is not fond of other understanding him, but things change, and he is not afraid of being understood anymore. He writes this story because it was the easiest way to express himself. So basically, Yashvasin is very expressive, but his way of expressing a little bit different, and that's what we are gonna see in this convo. So yeah, guys, stay tuned and be ready to enjoy this marvelous conversation.
But before welcoming him, I'm Vidya.
And I am Yash. Let the talks begin.
Coffee and Convo, where the conversations get alive.
So, hi Yashvasin, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys?
Yeah,
Hi,
we are
Yashvasin.
extremely good.
We are so good.
Welcome to Coffee and Convo.
Yeah.
So, before we begin the session, I'll just brief you about it. We have two segments in our session. The first part is the main questions part where we aim to learn everything about you. And the second part is all about fun. It's our very own rapid fire round. Okay. So it's as simple as it. Now let's begin with this first segment. But before that, our audience are very curious to know more about you. So why don't you introduce yourself? But with a small twist,
Uh,
can you introduce yourself in a poetic way?
in a poetic way, in the sense, do you want me to sing or something? I suck at those stuff. Takes me a while. Okay. Uh, I'm Yash, and I'm an author. And this is my book. This is the most poetic I've ever been in my life.
Very good. Now I'll get into the questions part. So my first question is, what or who made you fall in love with literature firstly?
Uh, that's a difficult question. You can see, so like it's more like comic booky, right? So what I did was like I used to read a lot of Japanese and other comic book mediums, and like there's also like Japanese cartoons, right? Anime and other stuff. So I used to watch a lot of those things. So after a while, certain series had like novels. It seems I didn't. I want to know more of the stories, so I started to read. I also like used to draw comics. That's how I wanted to like tell my stories. But my art style didn't really match certain kinds of stories I wanted to tell. I have a very particular art style, so it didn't like fit well with the very dark themes I wanted to write sometimes. So what I thought was like I'll write it in a way which is a blend between novel and comic book. So you can see like unlike other novels, I use like a lot of onomatopoeia. I don't like draw stuff, but I use sound effects which are used in like comic books like kaboom and others to convey like sudden bursts and like noises in my story. So I thought like I could blend two things together. So I started to write literature in the sense I don't read a lot of things. I've read like two or three short stories, uh, which like two my girlfriend like forced me to read, and like another one like I just read it. No, that was the only thing I read it on myself, by myself. So other things, other than that, I read like the Japanese translated novels, and like I read a little bit of Harry Potter long back,
Hmm.
and also like Roots. There's this book called Roots, which is like really good. It's more like it's a novel, but it's more like a documentary kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question here, Yash. As you said about a lot of Japanese cartoons, animes, and all, but your book represents a theme of Indian touch, and it also represents the kind of mystical powers and something. So how did you like thought of combining all these elements? And first preferably why writing a book rather than like because you are such a kind of binge watcher, I would say, like me. So why like the shift from the person who is enjoying the shows then to writing? What was the idea behind
Uh,
that?
so like though I don't like write stories from start, no, but I used to like tell stories. Like when I was like a small kid, me and my brothers, no, I used to like we used to play games like role playing games. Like we would call ourselves gods. Okay, so basically,
Okay.
I would call myself the god of dragons, and like I would name other brothers, no. I will add them into the thing story, and like I will be playing, no, will be fighting like imaginary forces and other stuff. And there was this time like my class I was really young, and like those kids were also young. When we were playing, like, only like three of my friends used to play this, and like everyone started to say, give me a god title or something. Like even I want to be a god or something. They used to like
Okay.
always go behind me and like ask me to name them some thing, and they wanted to follow me or something like that. So I named most of the kids in my class, and everyone followed whatever I did because they wanted the title of god or something like that. So it was really interesting.
Okay.
I used to like play with them, and like I would come up with scenarios to make them do what I want to do, what I wanted them to do.
Mm.
And like I also told people other stories about the thing, no, about my own mythology. So I got into telling stories a lot.
Okay.
So coming to your actual question, so like there is like a lot of Japanese influence in this thing, like Japanese in the sense like anime influence, like
Mm.
their stories are already influenced by other mediums and other stuff. So
Mm.
this has like Greek mythology influence, like and anime influence, and like also like I wanted the dressings and the structures of the book to look Indian. I haven't like explained it to be like Indian, but like that is how I imagined it. Like it's up to you to imagine how the locations and architecture is.
Yeah.
But in my view, it's like most of the structures are based on like in Hindu temples and other stuff, and their ornaments and like their what they wear is more like Indian wear. So that's how I imagined it. That's why I made this cover, because like most people who read my story, like they imagined it to be like more like knights and other stuff, like in a Western inspired thing. So I drew it in an Indian style so that when people read, they think it's okay. So like since the I mean like what title character looks Indian,
Mm.
Indianish.
Yeah,
So
a
other
kind of
characters are
connection.
supposed to be there. Yeah, so they can connect, because like I didn't really say it looks Indian.
Mm.
So I thought I
Okay.
would convey it through this. No.
Yeah. Yeah. We get it.
Wow, that's really thoughtful.
Yeah. So, uh, how can you say that, how can you define how literature changed your life?
Literature didn't necessarily change my life. More like movies and like
Mm.
cartoons did. But
Okay.
like literature in the sense I create. There's this one guy called like Arthur Schopenhauer or some guy. Okay, he's like an German philosopher. Yeah, he's a German philosopher, probably German, because like most philosophers are German. So what he does is like he says like reading books is a waste of time or something like that. So I don't believe like I have to like read a lot of books for me to write it. I feel like when I read more and more books, I would be inspired by those things, how their writing style will influence my writing style. When you hire people who only play games, they will probably gonna make the game with their own experience. Like they're gonna like bring about the old the same thing, and like they're gonna like refresh it or repurpose it. That's it. They're
Yeah.
not gonna create something new. So that was my logic behind this book. So I didn't like I read like few books so that I know I get like how they write now, like what kind of style, I mean like how to basically write. I read books which were meant to like teach you how to write, how to engage your audience and other stuff. But I didn't necessarily read a lot of books, like straight up novels and other stuff. Like I said, I read like maybe like two or three for reference. So like I don't get influenced by it.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, yes, like as I already asked, like, is there any kind of attachment with mythology, your personal attachment with mythology that has been represented in your characters?
My attachment to mythology is not necessarily attachment. Like I am like a nerd about mythology because like I like gods and other stuff.
Yeah.
There's like tons of gods of drinks, and like gods of like millions of gods around the world. So what I wanted was to create something like that. Like my own gods section of
Okay.
gods, because like everyone, like every single people, they use the mythological characters and like repurpose them, like
Hmm.
recreate them, like reinvent the characters. So I wanted to create something new because like that hasn't been a new mythology created in a long time, right? Like completely new mythological world. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, there are like God created and like worlds more like attached to, like it's attached to something else. The only mythology I know which was created recently was like H.P. Lovecraft's like weird gods. Like they're like gods, but like they're more like creatures and demons and other stuff.
Okay.
It's like quite interesting. His books I actually read. Yeah, I mean like I hear audiobooks of him. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
really good. H.P. Lovecraft. Have you heard of
So,
him?
yeah. Like apart from literature and book stuff, in practical, are you like kind of person who do believes in like
Yeah.
gods,
Yeah.
mythology, and other stuff? Are you that
I
kind of
don't.
person?
It's like this. I'm like a person who's like divided in this. Like sometimes I believe, sometimes I
Okay.
don't. No, it's a matter of convenience for me.
Acha.
So now, coming to your book, what can a reader expect from your book, and which elements you believe has the power to, strike the reader's mind?
In the book, in the sense like a moment or like this particular emotion. What do you mean by that? Do you mean an emotion or a moment?
Anything. Can you just describe both of them, both the cases?
I mean, like it will be spoilers anyway. It's more like I wanted to write the main character is the god of heroes, so I wanted to write a story about a hero who's like quite divided. No, he doesn't like he's not an active character in this. Like other characters influence him a lot in this. There are like other characters who are more like hero than him. He's more like he's not a
Okay.
bad person, but he's not a very efficient person either. So like he's very he gets like very emotionally driven, like, and he goes overboard. He is not a person who clearly thinks, even though like he knows the stuff, he would make mistakes. So
Hmm.
I wanted what I wanted to drive is like in this story is particularly like sometimes like people believe in something for a long time, and like when they find out it's a lie, they feel broken or something like that. So what I felt was like people don't necessarily have to things doesn't have to be true for some person to feel good about something, no? So
Hmm.
like lies are also like something which are equally important as truth. So
Exactly.
that's
Okay.
what I wanted to convey. So like and also what I felt was like truth, when you know the truth, you will probably have only one path to
Hmm.
move forward, and like you already know the situation, like all the circumstances, like all which is going to happen, then you're going to move forward in a particular route which should be like taking out your free will. So like when you know the truth, your freedom is taken away from you.
Yeah.
When you believe in lies, even though they're lies, you get a lot of different paths. There isn't like many other things. There are other things also which I focus on, like maybe like not philosophical thing, but like wanted people to feel the characters' emotions in that, which was quite difficult because like certain things I wasn't really able to like fully convey the weight of certain moments. I
Okay.
tried my best in certain moments, like certain moments worked out fine,
Hmm.
but like certain moments I felt like I needed to push some more. Like I didn't want to like just put the thing on in the reader's face. Okay, so I wanted it to be subtle, but also like feel heavy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it
Hmm.
was like quite difficult. So that part was quite difficult, like certain parts.
Hmm.
I try, yeah, the certain things are like difficult to convey, and like people didn't grasp the whole thing. No,
Hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't want to like give away the whole thing so people can think for themselves. But like people didn't understand certain things. Some people did, some people didn't. So it's like I have to find a middle ground, maybe in the next story.
I personally believe such kind of books actually create a lot of impact. Just reading the book, and after a while we tend to forget things eventually. But the book which makes us think a lot, the book which makes us, it gives the conclusion to us, or it gives certain moments to for us to think about. Such kind of books will have a different kind of hit. So
Impact.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
yeah, coming to this emotions part, like if I talk about emotions, conveying which kind of emotion was actually tough for you?
Oh, the anger, no, that part was quite difficult. I wanted the readers to feel frustrated the same way the main character did. They did feel frustrated, but like not to the extent I wanted them to. No?
Okay, okay.
So like other parts also, like the first half, there's like two love stories in this thing, like
Hmm.
yeah, two couples basically. So like the first couple I was able to convey the love story properly. The second one I felt like I wanted it to be better than the first one, but the first one ended up being like most people felt like the first one was better.
Okay.
Okay,
So
yes,
it was like
I have a question here. So, like, did you actually add your character, your emotions, your love story kind of things into this book? Is
yeah.
it?
The first one was the messed up love story of my ex and me, and another one is
Oh,
like something
okay.
I wanted to happen, and I mean like I want things to work out the second time. So it's like a fictional thing where like things are like I have not come to that point in my life, but like I've wrote the story,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Okay,
about
okay.
based on
That
that incidents. But like, so I wanted the second one to second one to be impactful for the people because like
Yeah.
that's something it's
okay.
still going on with me also. So, but the first one people preferred. It's so sad.
So
Okay.
that's the main highlight of this book. Then, so this would definitely make the readers
More curious.
connect more.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
people prefer the old one.
Okay. So now, coming to
Okay.
this, like, how did it start? The journey, right, from the scratch to publishing. Uh, how did it happen actually? The journey of entire writing the book. Can you just describe the journey?
Okay, the first thing was like I just wanted to write a story. I wanted to like publish a book for a long time. I wanted it to be a comic. Thought of writing a story, so I started to write, which was a horrible time in my life. Like at the beginning it was like fun. Like first 10 days I finished the first 10 chapters, and like more than like I think I wrote the first like 12 or 13 chapters in like 2 weeks or something like that. After that, like I really wasn't able to write anything at all. Like I felt so drained out from that. It actually took months to finish off like half a chapter, and like it went on like that, and like eventually, it was like frustrating, and also the COVID time, the lockdown time. I needed some fresh air for me to think also,
Yeah.
which was really difficult. And since after that it took me like around like almost 1.5 years to complete the next story. I mean like the second half of the story, which is like short, which is actually lesser than the first half.
Okay.
I finished most of my story in like 2 weeks, and it took me like another 1.5 years to finish the rest.
So yeah, yes. So what was your best review, or what was the best compliment that you received from your
The
readers?
best compliment was my previous like interviewer. Like the I had an interview with the Crescent College students, like literature club student. He acted like it was an actual comic book, and we are discussing about something. Like a movie that came out, like a Marvel movie, and afterwards he would discuss about the characters. He was that excited, and like he was talking about a lot of things. And like that was like okay. I didn't actually think about that yet.
that that actually brings a kind of different vibes in a writer, right?
Yeah. In fact, that's the beauty of anything. When someone conveys something, you may convey it thinking of one thing in your mind, but the reader or the listener, or even if it's a movie, we get another thought. We can connect it to, we can relate it to another story. That's the beauty of creativity. Some new story can be pulled out of what is actually told. That's, yeah. So yeah, that's how we can end the first segment now.